benefits and some of the expectations. So you can look at that. But before we do, I just want to turn it over to Fallon to talk about her selection and her experience in 2022. You know, each class kind of writes their own story, and each class, I just think, has that takes on a special personality. And gosh, Fallon, if you would even talk to people about what happens in the class, in the culture that develops.
I know.
So it's all yours.
Okay.
It's all yours.
Well, thanks everybody for joining. I do know a few of you and are getting to know a few of you personally, but I truly can't wait to meet everyone. As Pat said, I was class of 2022. I had never really done any type of like large scale fundraising before. I don't know where to look, so I'm just like looking at everything.
You can look here.
I know. And it was like post-COVID. I was getting out of like working for hotel events for like a million years. And I was just like, you know what? I feel like this is just like the year to just start making changes and making them for the positive. So there was someone that used to work here, and I had worked with her for their like music for all the events that we have here at CF. And I asked her the one day, it was like the last few days before they were like done taking interviews, and I was just like, hey, do you have any spots left for 50 Finest? I kind of want to just like learn more about it. So we chatted about it, and she's like, no, I can't believe I did not like think of you. Like, that's so funny. And I was like, yeah, just like hiding in the wings, whatever. So I ended up having my interview. It was really great. It was just like being yourself, telling them about your life, what kind of person you are, what you do for work. It wasn't anything challenging. If you're comfortable fundraising, you know, just asking just pretty much cut and dry questions. I ended up making it, obviously. I remember our like announcement day was on April 1st, and I was the first one of the day. It was at like 8 a.m. And I just thought that was so funny because like, you know, just notification day is a really special day. I don't want to give too much away, but with it being on April 1st, I was like, are they joking? Then fast forward to a couple weeks later, that's when you do like your Finest like kickoff. That's where you learn everything A to Z. It's a lot of information at once, but it's really cool because you get to meet everybody else in your class. Your mentors are there. People are, you know, everybody's like just kind of jumping in, sharing their experiences, giving you tips on what works, what doesn't, what you should and shouldn't do. You definitely leave there and you're like, oh my God, I am on information overload. Like what? But you know what I did? I I met a girl there. Her nieces have CF, and she was in my class with me, and we literally were in the parking garage, and I was like, all right, no time like the present. So we like hop on our phones, and we were just like, hey everyone, doing my classic, hey everyone on the internet. And we just started asking for donations right then and there on Instagram. So I think we both ended up hitting like $500 by the end of the weekend. And I ended up winning a challenge that my mentor was doing where they were going to match the money I earned. So it was just kind of like, okay, maybe I can do this. This isn't so hard. I had never been somebody that would be like asking people for anything on social media. And for some reason, I just like hopped out of my comfort zone, and I would just like pop on social media and I would just give everybody an update. I would thank the people who have donated to me. I remember by July, I had hit $5,000. I had an event with my gym. I did a boxathon. I go to Level Red Boxing, and they did an event, and everybody that goes there was just really supportive. I think I raised like $1,500 in 90 minutes, like cash. Like people just were showing up. Just it was so incredible. I think that's something that you guys will learn. You're gonna learn how generous and fantastic people are, willing to help you. That kind of stuff I think will always just like move me. Like I don't care what job I have or how much money I raise. People are always so helpful. So I loved that. Like a month or two later, or no, in July we do the photo shoot with Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. So that's really fun. Again, hanging out with the other honorees, just getting to know everybody. And then in August I had my last big event, and I did a prom, an adult prom, at the Renaissance, and it was in the lobby. If anybody's ever been there, it's really pretty. They have that like pretty dome. I used to work there, so again, just they were willing to help. We had the whole lobby, the restaurant. We had VIP. We had Pat dancing in VIP in the glow prom. And I did that with another honoree. So we ended up raising, I think I ended up raising like 13,000 from that. So it's just crazy. Like if you put in the work, it's really easy. I still had a full-time job and I was able to raise like, this money. I would try to do a lot of stuff on Sundays when I was just like sitting in front of the TV. We were like binging whatever, probably The Sopranos. And I would just print out letters, which we provide for you. And I would just, I actually went through my wedding addresses from when I got married, and I just sent everybody a donation letter. And I would include like a self-addressed stamped envelope, just so that all they had to do was pop that check in and send it right to the office. And I remember the person that was running Finest at the time, she would send out emails periodically, and I was one of the first people that got a shout out, and she was like, shout out to Fallon for taking advantage, snail mail is still a thing, guys. So I ended up having like the most checks that like in my class of people that were like, I definitely was like hitting up those, people in my family that I knew weren't going to go on my website. But I just thought that was awesome.
I think it is awesome. I think what Fallon is sharing is a great example of how she turned to her network, her resources, her life, and just after attending something like we call Finest University, it's kind of a kickoff. We supply literally a ton of ammunition, and everything is templated for you to use. All you really literally need to do is kind of make the story your own. And a couple of things that I think I wanted to point out in Fallon's story, just so you know, is that one of the things I think is a strength of this campaign is the way we supply every honoree into a mentored group. There are mentors who are people like Fallon who have been honorees in the past or have strengths, most of them have experienced and been an honoree themselves, but there's a few outliers that haven't, but they want to share their knowledge and their success and help this group of honorees to excel and talk through whatever challenges or opportunities you might want to talk about once you kind of go through that thoughtful kind of goal setting process. And I really think it's just typical of anything. Like she said, she used a letter writing campaign, just a couple of notable things. She did, that direct solicitation, and snail mail still is a thing. It's actually one of the most special ways that you can still reach out to someone. It just depends on what your source is. Texting's great too. We had an honoree who just texted everybody in her world. She was a newscaster, and she texted everybody, and just kind of sent it out, her link, and she was blown away by the response. The other thing that we provide every honoree is not only a mentor for a small group size. You will be broken up into teams, and you have each other, a mentor, and a CF family that wants to be an ambassador for you. We don't expect that you have your own story. Not everybody has a Murphy in their life, but we have great ambassadors that want to share their story with you. And in turn, they hope that you'll count on them. They'll give you photos. They'll show up at your event if they're invited, if you want them there. If you're having an event, you can use their story and their progress or their parents' story, however it goes, in your communication, and it motivates. It says, I'm motivated by this. I'm making a difference in this CF community. And here's a story to share about that expresses some of my motivation. So we take care of that. And the families are so anxious to do that. They love Pittsburgh's 50 Finest. They love the honorees. And, Fallon mentioned meeting someone that had, someone who had nieces that were, in the same family. And she just happened to be an honoree that year. And they became very close. I guarantee that hopefully, I'm hoping that, should you choose to take this on, you would walk away and never want to leave CF or our mission. You may never be an honoree again, but maybe, there's other things. And I just wanted to point those things out. Time commitment's a big thing, Fallon. Like, I think she mentioned a couple things that we give everyone a timeline, and we share some dates that we think are really important. So let me share the date of Pittsburgh's 50 Finest 2024 with you this year. It is September 20th, and it's going to be held at the Wyndham Hilton down at the Point. And they do a wonderful job, very experienced with our honoree gala structure and celebration, and they really do a great job. They work hard to make this a fun celebration. Some of the other opportunities and profit centers that our honorees can use, and Fallon, I don't know if you can speak to this, or possibly Justin, but maybe you both. Sponsorship.
You want to go, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, so look, everybody that's on this call is on this call because a member of our leadership, a member of our family has recognized that you're a special person and that you are a person that can help people like, Murphy from Madison, see a cure, see a cure for this disease. So this whole program is predicated upon the fact that people living with CF need a cure. They need treatments, right? And as you get further down the path, you'll start to create your story, like Pat said, about why you're doing this. I don't have a DNA connection. No one that is in the office there has a DNA connection to cystic fibrosis. We're doing this because it's truly an underdog story. It's a story where parents living with CF refused to let that be the end of the story for their children. So when you think about the fact that these parents are raising children and then having to go fight to raise money, to create science, to create drugs and treatments, to create a cure, because there is no funding from pharma, not like there is for everything else you hear of. There is no funding from the government. We are a small, rare disease that has to literally step up. And that's what this whole organization is. It's a bunch of people who stepped up, starting with parents of children with CF, but it's a bunch of people who stepped up and said, I have talent and ability to change people's lives. And that's what we're all here for. So by you being on this call, people in our leadership know that you're a special person. We know with our support system that we can help you create every which way there is to fundraise within your network. And that's going to be sponsorships for some people who are networked and have great visibility in the community. That's going to be letter writing campaigns, like Pat said, which are very effective, but it's just creating that story. Here's why this is important to me. Here's why I'm taking my time to dedicate my year to this in this 29th year of Pittsburgh's 50 Finest. When we get to that point, like I said, when the kickoff happens, and you'll have all those dates and timelines, we have the greatest support system you could ever imagine, with mentors, with the entire alumni database, 29 years of 50 people per year, plus their networks. It's an unbelievable I don't do anything in my life outside of this network, between purchasing cars, like Kara on this call. I'm building a renovation house right now, and the contractors from 50 Finest, the guy doing the loan for the things from 50 Finest, my haircuts from 50 Finest, whatever I have left. It's the most special organic network, but the cause is second to none. It's, how can we not do this? We have this ability. You out there that are business owners and have worked your whole lives and kept your reputations the way you've kept them, we will sit down one-on-one and we're going to figure out exactly how to attack this so that on September 20th, when you're at that gala for 50 Finest, you know that you've given everything you've got to help these people, help Murphy, like Madison's Murphy that's on this call, because they shouldn't, parents with children with CF, people living with CF shouldn't have to do that all on their own. That's what we should do. You know, it's a gift, like I said, to do this work. So yeah, sponsorship, fundraising, all of it. We're going to figure out exactly a plan of attack. You're not going to be left to your own devices. Hey, see you in September. Let us know how you do. It's a matter of maximizing your potential and turning every stone over. And that's where we come in. That's where the leadership comes in. So that's my rant.
Oh, thanks, Justin. That was a good rant. You know, he mentioned, I want to go over, you know, very quickly, a couple of things. As he said, this is a network that continues to just grow, and Fallon said it. It's a class and it's a special group that you'll belong to forever. But as such, you might just be saying like, okay, I knew someone, someone valued me and thought that I would be a fit here, but you know, what are the criteria for being an honoree? And I just wanted to share very quickly that we have tried to outline what that is. There is no set definition for a successful honoree. That being said, someone thought that you are someone that is positioned, you know, well in your world, whether it's in a corporate setting, whether it's in a business setting, whether it's in your family setting, your social network. Someone said, this person just seems like a fit for 50 Finest. You're probably a visionary. You probably have inspired others, and or you exemplify strong leadership qualities, and you figure that out. I'm sure you can do a little self-reflection right now. Somebody ranked you as likely active in the community already, and whatever that is, in whatever pursuit you are, how you do that, it takes on different definitions when you look at that perspective, but it is something we value highly in an honoree. And yes, you do have a network, and you also want to possibly continue growing in that network and joining our network. So the bottom line commitment you might be asking as well is like, well, okay, you know, what is it that I have to do? Honorees are asked to meet with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation with our staff and just talk about your application and how you could be successful. And once selected, develop your campaign or talk about that campaign, and we can help inform it. But it's really all yours. You just give you the tools, and that campaign or however you drive that is yours to do. You are asked to raise a minimum of $5,000. And I can tell you that back in year one, this, you know, it was $500 29 years ago. And if you want to call Chuck Hamill, he's president of Pitt, Ohio. He was in the first class of Pittsburgh's 50 Finest. He stepped up, and just like everyone else, he raised far more than $500. But everybody does it their own way. Another member of the first class of Pittsburgh's 50 Finest was Scott Blasey. You may know him from the Clarks. And it's a band that plays and still has a reputation. But, you know, I'm sure he did a special event, and that he was asked, you know, and that the way he probably raised a lot of his funds and garnered awareness for us was, you know, through Scott's way, through his music. Every honoree does it in a different way. Fallon came from the hotel industry, and she made use of her hotel connections. She decided to run an adult prom. That is what we call a legacy event. That event has been going on for a couple of years now. I think, Fallon, we did it in 23. You did it in 22.
So now we get to pass it on to somebody
We
else?
have to pass it on to somebody who wants to do an adult prom.
Yep.
Who was the prom queen, by the way, last year? I forget.
Oh, gosh. It was, you know what? I think they felt sorry for the
I think
person.
really bright yellow, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I paid off the voting committee and I won. Enough said, Justin.
So fun.
If we haven't outlined them yet, I just want to be very specific to what I think the benefits are, and Fallon can chime in.
Mhm.
I'm just going to say what we share. Obviously, the recognition as one of Pittsburgh's 50 finest, the 29th class, to me, is a huge benefit. It brings in, as Justin outlined, people who want to support you, who really appreciate the fact that you're getting behind a great story. We are considered one of the best stories in medicine. As much as we're an orphan disease, or one that affects less than 5% of the population, we are a well-known, get down to business, roll up our sleeves, get the job done. And we're also known for investing the funds that are raised on our behalf in very effective ways and putting them to where they need to be the most. And you'll learn more about how much research is actually done in the Pittsburgh area, and how our investments even play out here. But they benefit every single person with CF, regardless of where you come from. So no worries, Madison. Murphy's getting great care up there in Minneapolis. I think she said she was right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Obviously, you're going to be included in some very special media. We have a media partner, but we work very hard to ensure that the 50 finest class is recognized and is introduced to the community throughout the year and throughout these events. That leads to a couple of events that we ask you to try and come to. One is the kickoff party. We take our first group photo there. We use that group photo throughout the campaign. And we also take a picture of you individually, and you have a mission, our logo and a mission signage with you, and that gets used by you and is really a very helpful tool. We also ask you to come to a photo shoot. That's usually held in, is it July, Fallon, that we do the photo shoot?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where everybody in the class will come. We pick a very special location, and you dress up, and you don't wear a bright gold sweater like I am today. And anyway, that's featured in our media outlets, in our press releases, and our special media feature. We work with the Post-Gazette. They send this link out. They also have it in their paper as an insert. So you also, of course, that's included with the 50 finest finale celebration. You're there. We honor you. I believe it's you and a guest that are welcome, and you can earn more seating, and you can even sell sponsorships that can not only raise the funds on your behalf, but also get more people in the room. So there's a lot there. I think I've covered most of the benefits, but obviously the biggest one is the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of people with CF. And we really just think that brings most of our honorees, our applicants, into the honoree role. And it's just a winning team, but we couldn't do it without you.
I want to show, Madison emailed me. I'm going to put it up to here first. This is Murphy. Can you guys see that? So cute.
Can you
Look,
see it?
look how cute.
Oh, she's a doll. We will send this
I
along
need that
with.
outfit, Madison, in Fallon size for sure.
We
So-
actually wore matching ones for Halloween, so I have one.
Sold. I'm gonna need that.
Mhm.
That's cute. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Q&A.
So far, and please, I'm just gonna preface with anything that you ask is not a silly or a stupid
No.
question. I mean, it's probably something somebody else is thinking anyway. So anything so far that you guys have a question on, feel free to ask.
See, that's what happens when we rant so well. We cover everything.
I know.
Okay, I have a question.
Ask me your
Hmm.
question.
What happens if an honoree, Fallon, takes on the role and doesn't raise 5,000? What happens? Like, how did you know that you were doing well? What are the benchmarks? Are there any benchmarks?
In the sense of the different incentives and things like
Yeah, the
that.
support you get, from the staff and
Yeah.
like your group that you're running in.
Yeah. If it's interesting to be an honoree and then to watch it last year. Last year was just kind of this crazy fluke. I don't even know what was happening, but I feel like right out the gate, we had a lot of people that were fundraising high amounts really quickly. And I feel like there were people who were still doing fantastic, Cecily being one of them.
Yeah,
Was she raising this high amount like these other people who had specific connections? No, but she was still doing really great. She was really, on the ball, hitting her goals. What was nice was that your mentors, anybody here, we're here to meet with you guys, to go over game plans, to talk about your network. Who can you reach out to? Okay, here's my gym. My gym has this many people here. Okay, what about, my dad's side of the family? Okay, what about the book club I'm in? Just kind of having all of these people as a fallback to help, you be set up for success. You're like Justin said, you're never alone during this. And although moments probably might be like a little intimidating, I have to be honest, it's really easy to raise $5,000.
yeah,
It is. I know it sounds crazy me saying that, because I remember sitting in the training and then being like, oh my gosh, yeah, like you're gonna hit it with no problem. And I'm like, you guys are nuts. Like
Mhm.
you're actually crazy. But it really does, because your network really wants to help you get there.
I think, speaking of most of the classes, every year, the class benchmarks itself. And so in 2022, they had an unbelievable outcome. What was your year's final total? I think it was over $500,000.
Yeah, we were like 550 or
Yeah,
something like that.
every class has done that. So as you can see, people take $5,000 as a minimum, and the chance that you wouldn't even be able to do that is so rare. But I feel like, as Fallon said, the support that you get, we benchmark, we ask honorees to really put a plan together that helps them all get to 2,500 before the photo shoot. So you're feeling like, wow, I'm really there. And as
Yeah.
Fallon mentioned, a lot of honorees, we're out of the gate fundraising quickly, doing the suggested steps, taking those steps and doing them and just getting them done, and the returns like follow. And I think the biggest thing to me in all of this is the recognition that you have to go through too, is that this is not about you. This is more putting this amazing organization, CF, our powerful story out in front. And you're actually giving people in your world an opportunity to be part of that story. And I think when honorees recognize that, I mean, aside from having, if you want to go down the fun event line and concept something, events are fun. We have a lot of honorees who choose to do maybe a golf tournament. Fallon chose to do a prom. Someone else just has a happy hour.
Yeah.
And other people text their heart away and like our broadcaster and get all the donations like easily, because there's a lot of strong feelings about you as an honoree. They trust you. They know you're raising funds for an excellent organization, and we need that awareness. That's why we choose 50 and not 20, not 10. We need 50 people to help tell our story, to keep our mission alive, funded, and the progress fueled year in and year out. So I hope that's helpful.
I have a great question from Frankie.
Let's go, Frankie.
Frankie's at the gym, so she typed her question. I understand the commitment virtually, but how frequently do we meet with staff and mentors? In person and virtually? Any other events we are required to come to in person?
Oh,
Also, are we required to host our own event, or can we raise the money any way which we think is effective? All great questions, and I'm sure this was something everybody was asking, so I'm just going to kind of go down the list.
start backwards. I like her last one.
Want to start backwards? Okay. You can raise the money any which way that you think is effective. You are not required to host an event. I almost want to say that I feel like the class last year thought that it was like all about events. You're going to learn at Finest University. That's actually one of the last things that we kind of give you the, you know what I mean? Like push you to do. You're going to have so many other ways to fundraise, but that is definitely a great way to do it. But no, you don't have to host an event by any means. Let's see. Any
As long as
events
it's legal.
as long as it's legal. Thank you. Any other events we are required to come to in person. So basically, yes, whenever you are selected, we will send something out to you that shows all of the different upcoming dates so that you can have them on your calendar. The first being Finest University. There's usually like a happy hour or something a little bit after that, just so you can kind of get to know your class. The one after that would be the dates for the photo shoot. There's usually a photo release party that we'll have a date for.
It's about a week ahead of the event. It's the last
Yes.
opportunity for everyone to get together, see your photo in print,
Yeah,
and receive, the little insert, and it's just fun.
it
It's our
is.
last
It's
awareness.
really fun.
Yeah.
And then of course the gala in September. So you'll have all those dates in advance. So if you do have like a demanding work schedule, that you'll have those so you can at least try to work things out as best you can so that you can attend. But everything else is, yeah, pretty much virtual. Checking in with staff and mentors is mainly virtual. I think it's nice when our mentors, they'll probably want to meet you guys out once in a while. I knew last year, one of the teams, last year everybody was teamed up based on where they live. So I know like the ones by me, like the Lawrenceville, Stanton Heights, Shady Side crew, they would all get together for like happy hours, kind of like brainstorm, collab on stuff. So it just goes back to having that support.
Mhm.
Yeah, you'll have
Great.
direct access to a good handful of people from our leadership, the assigned mentor, even your CF family that you'll be working with. So you'll have access to a ton of support for even simple texts, emails. You'll have people that will get back to you very quickly because there will be opportunities. All of your minds are going to start going, the gears are going to turn, and you might be sitting there at 9:45 at night saying, "Oh, I wonder if I could do this." You'll have access to those people, like the people on this call, that will be more than happy to go down that path with you and try to figure out how to get, at this point, 29 years, we haven't seen it all, but we've seen a lot. So, we never want anybody to feel like they have to, come to us once something's fleshed out. Like, we want to flesh things out together and make sure that we maximize opportunities because, we may have a way to make your thought even better, even more productive. So you will have access, phone numbers, email addresses to a good amount of people that will directly help you. And if your mentor isn't a person that did a golf outing and you're thinking about doing a golf outing, you better believe we have a dozen people that have pulled it off successfully, and we'll connect you with the right people and make sure that we game plan it. So
the only other thing I was thinking of that you'd be doing in person is if you want to attend your other honorees events. People do come up with some really creative things. Like last year there was like a disco rodeo at the Standard. Obviously prom, a ton of golf outings. A lot of people do like different workouts. So it's kind of just like a nice way to do something for a good cause, support your fellow honoree, and just do something fun.
Yeah, and I know there's, even some people in situations that had children, they had family events or I think they had a carnival or something,
Yeah,
that went
that's
really
right.
well. But I think the best thing is if you are going down that route or you want to take advantage is to look at people in your world and say, what could I quickly convert into a charity event? If that's,
Mhm.
what is there an existing golf tournament that's just a corporate thing and they could raise funds or maybe have a little auction at their golf dinner that could
Yeah.
garner you, $2,000 potentially. It's always about, and that's where I hope all the great minds that are in this organization and in this leadership team would be able to really help cut to the chase on that and give you those ideas.
You know what I want someone to do? In my class, there was a girl, she came in second place, Caroline Elliott.
Yeah.
She did a color run. So literally all she had, it was like, I think she got the color packets donated. She ended up having like space out by like Heartwood, And
Yep.
she had such a, she borrowed our like inflatable CF
Yep,
arch.
she did.
And I think Gary, went
Yeah,
and took
Gary took
pictures,
photos,
who
our
does a lot of our
photographer.
photography.
Mm-hmm,
She made a killing off of it,
yeah,
fundraising, and people literally came to get color thrown at them, and that's just like, it was so much fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just something that worked really
And it was so
well.
unique.
Yeah.
No one else has
Yeah.
done that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So there's a
Yeah.
lot of options out there.
Yeah, just, again, we don't tell people what to do. We didn't tell Carolyn to do that. It happened to be something that she had, she had a connection to, or however she wanted to do it. She likes to work out. A lot of people just look at things in their lives and say, I like to go to this dinner place. Maybe this restaurant would host a happy hour, where I could bring all my friends and family and make it about CF.
Mhm.
And we give tremendous examples, so I don't want to, we love hearing new ideas, so it's just as far as your imagination can take you is where I think the possibilities are.
Mhm.
And but again, as Fallon said, the event might be in your toolbox,
Yeah.
might be, but there's so many other ways to get the job done, and finally just, please know how grateful we are for your interest.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that any of us can do in follow up to this call, and to answer questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We really appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm so glad that so many of you joined, and I really am looking forward to meeting all of you. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me, reach out to me on social media, whatever, however I can help if you think of something later. But yeah, super excited to see how this goes for 2024.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you all.
I know.
And we'll be in touch soon. Have a great night.
Thank you, guys.
Bye,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye, Murphy.
That went very well.